think we have to guess any longer how the crowd would react. Maybe the ball club and the fans were a little down after last night, but it's amazing how quick fans and players can recover. And Davey, in talking to the players today, there didn't seem to be any talk of last night. It was almost like it was completely forgotten that quickly.
Well, that's right. And you know what, Tom? I tell you what, if you have a tendency to dwell on that game last night, you're going to have nightmares. I mean, you won't survive the day. And those guys just seemed to, we were down on the field, we're talking to the players, and they are very confident. And I was surprised no one even mentioned the game last night.
And what I thought was interesting during the time that I was around the batting cage, there was no chirping going on as there usually is. It was all business tonight before the ball game, and we'll see how it works out. But these guys, I think, know that they got a job to do and something to prove.
How important are the early innings?
Well, they're very important. I think to me, they're important for Charlie to shut down the Boston Red Sox offense, because this offense, the last 10 innings or so, has been tremendous. For Charlie to come out and shut these guys down early and then give the Indians an opportunity to get in the ball game. But I think the job, first of all, is up to Charlie to keep them at bay.
I think they're critical. I think they're critical for Charlie to establish himself early, keep that hot ball club intact, because you know what? The further the game goes, and it's a close ball game, the better chance for the Indians to win that game.
All right, Charlie Nagy completing his warm-up tosses. Charles Nagy, maybe the most overlooked star pitcher in the game of baseball. Remember, only he and Greg Maddux have won 15 games or more in each of the last 5 years. Charlie went 17-11 this year, and maybe even more importantly, Charlie lifetime against Boston, 7-1 in the regular season. In postseason, Charlie 3-0 against the Red Sox with a 123 earned run average. The umpires tonight: John Shulock behind the plate, Derwood Merrill at first, Jim Joyce at second, Chuck Merriweather at third, Tim Welke down the left field line, Jim McKeon down the right field line. Jose Offerman, 5 RBIs last night, steps in. The line, tonight's first pitch swung on. One hopper hit to short. Vizquel throws to first. One pitch, 1 out. And these fans, they continue to amaze. I don't know why, but you wondered if they might be really flat tonight.
I don't know why they should be, Tom. They've experienced the ups and downs of this ball club in seasons past, and hey, they're here. They've got tickets for the Yankee Series and the World Series. They want to keep coming to the ballpark.
Here's John Valentin. In the last 2 games, he's had 3 homers, 10 RBIs. Nagy, the wind and the pitch to the right-handed hitter, and it's taken high and wide, ball 1. Defensively, Will Cordero in left, Kenny Lofton in center, Manny Ramirez in right. Jim Thome at first, Robbie Alomar at second, Omar Vizquel at short, Travis Fryman at third, Sandy Alomar catching. The next pitch, and it's a little bit inside, 2-0. Valentin was 0 for 3 against Nagy in Game 2, and lifetime is hitting 160 against his former collegiate foe. They played against each other in the Big East. The 2-0 pitch, a swing and a foul back, 2-1. Nagy out of UConn, and John Valentin out of Seton Hall.
Now, Tom, as we had to, on a couple of occasions, looked at the highlights or lowlights of last night's ball game. Every swing of the bat, the ball seemed to be right down the middle of the plate.
The 2-1 pitch, swung on, Tapper back to the mound, Nagy gloves, Nagy throws, 2 down.
And already here, Charles Nagy has made good corner pitches. And that's the difference. He's changed speeds. He's made good corner pitches. I mean, if you're a major league hitter, you can hit something right down the middle of the plate. Charlie wants to keep the ball off the plate or near the corners and change his speeds like he does when he's usually effective.
Now Brian Daubach. Daubach, left-handed hitter. 2 down, first inning, no score. Daubach, 1 for 11 in the series. The pitch. He hits a ground ball between first and second and a single into right. And the Red Sox have their first base runner. Nobody can be as hot as Boston was last night with a playoff record, 23 runs on 24 hits. And of course, the day before in Boston, the Red Sox scored 9 times on 11 hits. Now with 2 down, a runner at first, Nomar Garciaparra, still playing with a sore wrist. And if you haven't heard by now, Pedro Martinez threw briefly before tonight's ball game and is able to pitch if needed, which is a surprise to an awful lot of people. Now the set by Nagy and the pitch to Garciaparra. He hits it deep to center. On the run is Lofton. Near the wall, Lofton leaping, and this ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Nomar Garciaparra. Lofton leaping at the wall in center. Just couldn't get high enough, and Garciaparra has done it again. His 2nd homer in the series, his 7th against the Indians this year. 2-0 Boston, and the Red Sox players out of the dugout to greet Garciaparra. And again, he hit it to dead center. And Boston trying to pick up where it left off. Now 2 down for Troy O'Leary. He takes ball 1, it's outside. After 2 quick outs, Daubach the single, Garciaparra the home run. 2-0 Boston. O'Leary batting 125 in the series, takes ball 2, it's outside.
Well, and Sandy Alomar set up off the plate outside for that pitch to Garciaparra, and it came right back over the inside part of the plate. And he is so strong, he just muscled it out of here.
O'Leary taking a strike to make the count 2-1. Nomar Garciaparra, a one-man wrecking crew. In the division series last year, he had 11 RBIs. 2 homers in this series. Now the 2-1 pitch. Check swing, a strike called over the outside corner, 2-2 the count. Troy O'Leary, 3 hits in his last 39 at-bats, dating back to the regular season as the Indians fans get to their feet in the pitch. Swung on, fouled into the seats behind the plate, count stays 2-2. So the Red Sox lead 2-0. And that was probably a worst-case scenario for the Indians.
Yep.
Outfield deep straight away. Bit of a breeze toward right tonight. The pitch. Swung on, fouled over the screen again. 58 degrees here at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario. Just a delightful fall evening. Nagy is ready. And the 2-2 offering. A swing and a foul hit down the left side into the suites. We'll do it again at 2-2. This portion of Indians baseball brought to you by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. The Red Sox scoring more runs in the first inning than they did in 7 innings against Nagy last Thursday. He delivers. The pitch is low, full count. Boston, in 3 previous starts by Charles Nagy in the postseason, had scored only 3 total runs in those 3 starts. Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, chased one down and in. But Garciaparra has put the Sox up 2-0. We've played a half inning. Bottom half of inning number 1, and the Indians forced to play catch-up, down 2-0. And Bret Saberhagen on the mound. He opposed Charlie Nagy last Thursday afternoon. And Saberhagen, after 2 scoreless innings, never got out of the 3rd, giving up 6 runs in that inning. The big blow, a 3-run homer by Harold Baines, 2-run triple by Omar Vizquel, and an RBI double by Robbie Alomar in that 6-run 3rd as the Indians went on to win 11-1. Saberhagen, fastball, curve, and change. This guy has been on the disabled list 3 times this year. He was not used much down the stretch because his right shoulder is still very sore. He'll probably have arthroscopic surgery in the offseason. The one thing he did not throw much of was his quality changeup on Thursday. And Mike, the Boston people were saying that's the pitch, the changeup, that gives him the most pain in the shoulder.
Yeah, we'll see how he comes out here tonight. The other thing he didn't have was very good command. And Bret Saberhagen usually has good control. He just did not have it the last time he pitched.
And the key that day, as it is tonight for the Indians, make him throw strikes and be patient. Kenny Lofton leads off the wind in the first pitch, and it's high, ball one. The Indians refused to chase bad pitches on Saberhagen, and he walked 3 last Thursday after walking 11 all year. The 1-0 pitch. And Lofton swings and fouls it back, 1-1. Kenny Lofton batting .143 in this division series, but he really swung the bat better last night. And the Indians need Lofton to come to life. Red Sox in at the corners, outfield medium deep, almost straight away. Now the 1-1 delivery. Lofton takes a high fastball, 2-1. Saberhagen, against the Indians career-wise in postseason, has made 2 starts and lost them both with an 8.38 ERA. Saberhagen went 10-6 in the regular season, had a spectacular ERA of 2.95. And in this day and age, that is spectacular. But he only made 22 starts because of 3 trips to the disabled list because of the bad shoulder. Now the 2-1 offering. Up high, 3-1. And if you missed our broadcast on Thursday, that shoulder is held together by steel anchors. The tendons are tied together. He'll spend 4 to 5 hours building strength in that shoulder. The pitch. High, ball 4. And Saberhagen, normally pinpoint control, walks Lofton.
And right, he wasn't even close.
Bret Saberhagen missed 2 years after surgery to rebuild that right shoulder. It's amazing he is still pitching.
Oh, no question about it, but it shows you the kind of a competitor he is. I mean, he was a premier pitcher.
Yep.
Early in his career with Kansas City.
Now to the plate, Omar Vizquel batting left-handed, batting .250 in the division series. Lofton stepping off. I beg your pardon, Saberhagen stepping off as Lofton took his lead at first. We'll give you the Boston defense in a moment.
You wonder if Michael might try to grab something early here.
Quick throw to first, and he almost threw it over the head of Stanley. Boy, he is wild.
Yeah, when you're wild to first.
We'll give you the Boston defense outfield-wise. Troy O'Leary in left, Aaron Lewis in center, Trent Nixon in right. Saberhagen's pitch. Vizquel bunts out in front of the plate, and it trickles foul about 20 feet down the third base line. Otherwise, it's a base hit. On the infield, Mike Stanley at first, Jose Offerman at second, Nomar Garciaparra at short, John Valentin at third, and the catcher is Jason Varitek. Now the Indians ranked 3rd in the league in defense. Boston ranked 12th, and Mike Hargrove is arguing with John Shulak that ball may have been touched in fair territory by Varitek.
I think it was a good call by Shulak. Varitek never touched it until it kicked foul.
Every call will be disputed tonight. And now Jimmy Williams coming out to talk to John Shulak. What would that be about?
I have no idea.
He heads back to his first base dugout, getting a standing boo. 2-0 Boston, bottom of the first. Lofton at first, nobody out. 0-1 the count on Vizquel. Again, Valentin in close at third. Outfield, medium deep, a bit toward left. Saberhagen from the set. Now he throws to first, Lofton diving back.
But I was going to say, you got to wonder if Grover might try to start something and get something going here. Indians have run pretty well on Varitek in the playoffs.
There goes Lofton, pitch taken high, throw to second, no chance. Lofton with a steal. Bad throw in the dirt, nice scoop by Garciaparra. Kenny Lofton, his second steal in the series. He had 2 steals from June 27th until the end of the regular season.
Yeah, but I think Kenny understanding here how important it is to get back on the scoreboard after the Red Sox put 2 on in the top of the first inning. Indians need to get something going. Get a little excitement going offensively.
Mike, do you have to be the attacker tonight?
Oh, I think so. No question about it. You can't lay back.
Now Lofton takes his lead at second. They called it a strike. John Shulock. So it's 0-2. The pitch to Vizquel. Line toward left field line. It's a fair ball. Bounces toward the corner. Lofton scores. Vizquel into second with a sliding double. Tried down 2-1. And Kenny Lofton got it going with a walk and a steal. And Vizquel, a 2-strike opposite field double down the left field line.
That is not a good sign for Bret Saberhagen and the Red Sox on an 0-2 pitch. It's a little like Charles Nagy was with Nomar Garciaparra. These two guys are veteran pitchers, Tom, but they have both made a mistake here in the early going. And that was like the double. Now that gives the Indians an opportunity to move Omar over to third base and tie this ball game.
Well, the Indians doing what they had to do, and that's get something positive out of the first inning after Garciaparra's 2-run home run. Now Robbie Alomar. He'll bat left-handed. Alomar was 2 for 2 with 2 doubles against Saberhagen on Thursday. In the series, Robbie batting .400 with 3 RBIs. Boston in at the corners looking for the bunt.
Well, he may try to bunt right here.
The pitch. A swing and a shot to first, caught by Stanley. Back to second goes Vizquel after Alomar hit a bullet. 1 down. Boy, the Indians trying to tee off, and here comes Manny. And if you missed our conversation at the outset, Charlie Manuel, the hitting instructor, worked a long time with Manny today. Manny had started to copy Harold Baines' stance, where he has that front foot pigeon-toed, and he was simply blocking himself out. And he had his feet too close together. So Charlie getting him to spread out and open up a little bit. And Manny said to Sandy Alomar, "Get on my back. I'm taking this club to New York."
Let's hope he's right.
He has not had a hit in the series. The pitch. Curveball in the dirt. Great scoop by Varitek to keep the tying run at second. Manny is 0 for 15 with 7 strikeouts in this series. He didn't have an 0 for 15 slump all year. The Red Sox play him the opposite way toward right, medium deep. The flag's now hanging limp. Saberhagen checks second, the pitch. And it's in there, a strike to even the count at 1-1. Manny Ramirez has never had a hit off Bret Saberhagen, including the playoffs. He is 0 for 7 lifetime. The right-hander is ready. Turns, but no throw to second. Jim Thome waits on deck. Tribe down 2-1, bottom of the first inning, and Jacobs Field is rocking early. Offerman at second, now on the bag, trying to keep Vizquel close. Saberhagen delivers. Manny sends a pop-up into shallow right. Nixon coming in near the line. Nixon makes the catch, and Manny is still hitless and still not hitting the ball hard.
I think other than the stance situation, Tom, I also think that they have made good pitches on Manny, and he's kind of in between.
Yeah.
He looks like he's a little confused in how the Red Sox are approaching him from a pitch selection and location standpoint. And during the year, Manny usually figures those things out. He's very good at that.
Mike, even though Manny is as even-keeled as you would want a player to be, at some point, does it become mental?
Oh, I think you start pressing, no question about it. That was a fastball again inside. Manny was trying to cover the whole plate and take the ball to the opposite field, and he got jammed.
Now Jim Thome hitting .308 in the series, 2 homers, 6 RBIs. 2 down. Tribe down 2-1 in the first. The pitch up high, a fastball. Harold Baines waits on deck. He had the 3-run home run off Saberhagen last Thursday. Tribe down a run in the first. Lofton started the inning with a walk, a steal, and scored on Vizquel's double. Omar still at second. Saberhagen turns, fakes the throw. At this point, stealing third isn't that big a deal with 2 down. The outfield for Thome, not as deep as you might expect. Medium deep, almost straight up. The pitch. Inside, the fastball missed. 2-0. Bret Saberhagen was the youngest Cy Young winner in American League history. He was 21 years old when he won the Cy Young in 1985, going 20-6. Then became the youngest World Series MVP that same year, going 2-0, giving up 1 run and 2 complete game wins over St. Louis.
Thome hits a drive to deep right center. Away back. Gone.
Jim Thome almost hit it beyond the lower deck in right center. His 3rd homer in the series. Tribe on top, 3-2.
I'll tell you, Manny said they were going to ride his bat to New York. It may be Jim Thome's bat they'll ride to New York.
Here's Harold Baines. Down low, ball 1. Whatever back it is, the Indians just hope it's wearing white. Jim Thome, one of the longest home runs we've seen to right center as that pitch is low, 2-0. He hit it to the right of the Indians bullpen and almost hit it beyond the lower deck.
Tommy, it was back maybe 3 rows from the back of the bleachers out there.
The pitch, Baines, a swing and a miss. Bat goes flying down the right field line. They tell us Thome's home run, 477 feet. A 2-out, 2-run homer. And Thome, now with 15 career postseason home runs, move over, Babe Ruth, you've got company. Mickey Mantle, Reggie Jackson have 18. That's tops in postseason play. Babe Ruth and Jim Thome now tied with 15. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded to first. Stanley up with it, runs to the bag to make the play. But the Indians get another standing O. Jim Thome has electrified Jacobs Field. 3-2 Tribe. We've played 1. Well, Jacobs Field still buzzing on the Thome bomb. Tribe leading at 3-2, second inning, and a big inning now for Charles Nagy. He will face Mike Stanley, who has always hit Nagy throughout his career. Right-handed hitting first baseman. Stanley checks, takes a curveball strike. Stanley having a terrific series, batting .625, 10 for 16. He had 5 hits last night. The wind and the 0-1 pitch. Stanley hits it foul, third base side by Coach Wendell Kim. 0-2 the count. Had there been any wind blowing out to right center, Jim Thome may have hit 9th Street.
And Davey Nelson and I were talking about it between innings, Tom.
The 0-2 pitch. A swing and a foul at the plate.
That looked like it might have been a high changeup, so Jim Thome had to provide all the power on that one himself. Of course, he's got plenty of power to provide.
Wow. Well, the battle of the long ball, 3-2 Tribe. We've played 1. Nagy into the motion, the 0-2 pitch. Stanley fists it foul to the right. We'll do it again at 0-2. This broadcast presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians Baseball Company. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians Baseball Company. The announcers in this broadcast employed by the Cleveland Indians. Nagy's pitch, way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mike Stanley, a .414 career average against Charlie Nagy. He went 1 for 2 in game 2 against Nagy.
Well, pretty good low ball hitter and good breaking ball hitter.
And he swings and foul tips it. Just got a piece of it to stay alive at 1-2. Well, Boston riding such an emotional high. They went to Fenway down 0-2, and a lot of people just assumed it was over, except for 25 men in that Red Sox dugout. The 1-2 delivery up high, 2-2. And they've done it without Pedro Martinez. This is the man that they wanted to pitch game 5. We are told he's able to pitch maybe 2 innings tonight, but I still think that's a big if.
Yeah, and they did it in game 3 without Garciaparra.
2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Nagy strikes out Stanley. Second strikeout for Charlie, 1 down in the second.
Really took a lot off a breaking ball right there to Stanley and made a good pitch. Didn't come with the slider or the split finger. He came with a curveball that he really took some speed off of and had Stanley fooled.
Now Jason Varitek, switch hitting catcher. He'll bat left-handed. He had 4 hits last night, batting .313 in the series. He has good power, 20 homers in the regular season. Varitek taking, it's a little wide, ball 1. Indians playing Varitek deep and straight away. Tribe leading 3-2 in this decisive 5th game, 2nd inning. Nagy's pitch and a strike to even the count. Charles Nagy, he has not missed a turn in the rotation since October 3rd of 1993. He delivers, and the pitch down at the knees, but a little outside evidently. 2-1. Charlie Nagy, another 17-win season, his 3rd in his career. He delivers. Nagy misses low, 3-1. Charlie not bothered at all by pitching on 3 days rest, being a sinker ball pitcher, not the power pitcher, and it obviously affected Cologne last night. Now the 3-1 pitch to Varitek. Swung on, ground ball towards the middle, backhanded by Alomar from the outfield, spinning, throwing, in time! He's done it again! Alomar ranging to his right, into shallow center field, spinning and throwing and getting Varitek at first.
All right, Tom, I don't know how he got himself unwound to throw that ball. I think he threw the long hop on purpose to Jim Thome, but he was a good 10 feet back on the outfield grass heading towards center field, and he had to spin and throw a one-hop strike to Jim Thome.
2 down, Darren Lewis to the plate. Lewis taking, it's inside, ball 1.
And his leg is not 100%.
Robbie saying tonight that right calf, very stiff and sore. He was limping before the ball game during batting practice. The pitch, and it's in there, a strike. But Robbie said there's no way I don't play. So 2 down, Tribe leading 3-2 in the second. The wind by Nagy and the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit back up the middle again. Alomar backhanded, throwing, in time again! Robbie Alomar, 2 sensational plays. Tribe leading 3-2, middle of the second. Bottom of the second inning, Tribe leading it 3-2. And Robbie Alomar keeping Charlie Nagy out of second inning trouble.
Tom, I don't know how he does it. He's the best. There's no question about it. I don't think you need a qualifier to say he's one of the best. He is the best playing right now, and maybe whoever played that position defensively.
That time he had to again move to his right up the middle, make a backhanded pick on the short hop, and spin and throw. Bottom third of Mike Hargrove's order. Will Cordero in left field tonight leads off. Bret Saberhagen's pitch, fastball strike. David Justice came up with a stiff neck, and so Will Cordero playing in left field, although Cordero earned it with his performance last night. The 0-1 pitch swung on, fouled back, as Cordero was maybe the only bright spot the Indians had last night when he had a home run and went 3 for 4. He had a big pinch hit single in the win in game 1 in the 9th inning. So he's 4 for 5 in the series. Tribe leading 3-2, bottom of the second. Saberhagen's 2-strike pitch. Swung on, fouled back again. Remember, Bret Saberhagen is on a pitch limit. He is usually anywhere from 85 to 100 pitches. Of course, now in this situation, if he's going well, you'll extend him a little bit, but not much because of the bad shoulder. The 2-strike pitch. Way outside, 1-2. And if he gets in trouble this inning, Jimmy Williams won't waste any time going to the pen.
Well, if he had a quick hook last night with an 11-run lead, you know he's going to have one tonight.
He has everybody available in the bullpen tonight, including Ramon and Pedro Martinez. The pitch, curve missed outside, 2-2. Riel Cormier, we were a little surprised that he worked 3 2/3 last night, but he can face a hitter or two tonight as well. Derek Lowe was saved. The pitch, swung on, fouled upstairs, still 2-2 on Cordero. And Derek Lowe's a guy that he said, I'll go out there and pitch 7 innings if I have to, and he's got that kind of stuff.
Well, for both these teams, Tom, either you have one day off or you have all winter off.
Yep. Now the 2-2 offering. A swing and a long shot to deep left field. This ball is off the top of the wall. O'Leary will play the carom throw to second and hold Cordero to a rocket single. That's a home run in any park but Jacobs Field or Fenway. He hit a bullet high up the wall in left field.
Well, he hit it so hard he had no chance to get to second base. That ball came straight back to the left fielder O'Leary, who played it perfectly, one big hop, and nothing that Cordero could do. Tell you, I think, Tom, this tells you a little bit about Bret Saberhagen's stuff, though. He had Cordero in the hole 0-2, could not put him away.
Now Travis Fryman hits it high and deep to left. This ball is well hit. O'Leary near the wall, looking up. It is gone. Or is it? No, they're saying it's off the top of the wall. The Indians are saying it's a homer. Cordero has scored. We have really got an argument. That ball looked like it was gone, and the left field umpire, Tim Welke, said no, it was off the wall. Mike Hargrove going out to left field. That ball was gone. It looked like it hit the railings above the wall and left. And now the second base ump, Jim Joyce, out to confer with Tim Welke. And we're going to get an umpires convention right now.
Well, I think Jim Joyce saw something that Tim Welke didn't see.
It hit the top of the wall
and bounced out.
And then went straight up. So we'll see now what the discussion.
Well, Welke, you could read his lips. He's saying, I couldn't see.
Well, he's down in left field for one reason. It looked like it hit the top of the wall, hit the railing, and came back out.
Yep,
that should be a home run.
It absolutely did.
That is a home run. If it hits the top of the wall and it hit the railing, bounced back into play, that is a home run. It is a home run.
Well, here comes Jimmy Williams.
Travis Fryman will circle the bases. 5-2 Tribe. And now Jimmy Williams will argue, but if he saw the replay, he would realize that the correct call was made and give the umpires some credit for getting together and making sure they made the right call. Travis Fryman with a 2-run homer. 5-2 Tribe.
For the life of me, Tom, I can't understand how Tim Welke couldn't see it. He was right there.
That's why you have 6 umpires in the playoffs.
We just took another look at it. It hit directly on top of the wall and kicked and hit the railing. Out of play and then came back.
Right.
I mean, it was clear as a bell, and Welke's right there.
He should not have needed help. I think Jimmy Williams realizes it was a home run as well, but he had to go out and argue. And the Indians on Fryman's first ever postseason homer. Lead it 5-2. Derek Lowe warming in the Boston pen. The Indians have hit 2 home runs off Saberhagen. Nobody out in the second. Here is Sandy Alomar. And here's Jimmy Williams heading to the mound. That probably means a pitching change. He looks out toward the bullpen and we'll have a change. 5-2 Tribe. We'll be right back. Derek Lowe coming on for the Boston Red Sox, and Derek Lowe was some of the best stuff in the American League. 26-year-old right-hander, 6'6", 220, great sinker and curveball. Derek Lowe, so far in this playoff series, has worked in 2 games, a total of 6 1/3 innings. He has given up just 1 earned run on 3 hits. Sandy Alomar leading, batting 9th, and the first man to face Lowe takes a strike. Derek Lowe worked in game 1 4 innings. He did give up the 2-run homer to Jim Thome. The next pitch, Alomar tapping it foul to the left, 0-2. And the other ball game that Derek Lowe worked in was game 3. That was on Saturday at Fenway Park when he went 2 1/3. He again gave up a run, but it was unearned. The wind in the pitch. Alomar fisted it back foul, and the count stays 0-2. This is why Real Cormier worked 3 2/3 innings last night, so that Derek Lowe would be fresh for tonight, or as fresh as he can be. The 0-2 pitch. Alomar swings and misses, strike 3. During the regular season, the Indians had 1 hit off Derek Lowe in 30 at-bats. Top of the order, Kenny Lofton. Tribe leading 5-2. Bret Saberhagen worked 1 inning, and he allowed 5 runs on 4 hits. So this playoff series, not a very memorable one for Bret Saberhagen.
Well, and Jimmy Williams got him as quick as he possibly could.
The pitch to Lofton, foul down the left side, out of play.
I think he would like to have gotten another inning or 2 out of Saberhagen, but it happened so fast in the second inning, the walk, then the home run. There wasn't much that Jimmy Williams could do.
Lofton swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt, 0-2.
But that being said, Tom, this guy is probably in here till the 7th.
Yep.
Derek Lowe.
Lofton walked, stole a base, scored in the first.
That is, if he can be effective as he usually is.
The right-hander turns and fires. Lofton swings and pops it up. Shallow right center. Second baseman Jose Offerman calling, and he makes the catch. 2 down. There were some that thought Jimmy Williams should start Derek Lowe. Here's Omar Vizquel. He doubled in a run his first time up.
Well, Derek Lowe had been a starter. I think he settled into his niche in the bullpen this year. They may very well bring him back out of the bullpen and make him a starter.
Vizquel taking ball 1 inside.
But when you start changing roles in midstream, it can come back to haunt you.
Ask Steve Carsey. The 1-0 pitch to Vizquel. And it's down at the knees, a strike, 1-1. If you're wondering about the Indians bullpen, Steve Reed can't pitch tonight because of a bad elbow. Steve Carsey could be used in a limited situation. That pitch inside, 2-1. And Dave Burba, the MRI showed that he did strain the ligament in his right elbow. He is done at least until the World Series. The pitch inside again, 3-1. Should the Indians get to the World Series, a possibility that Dave Burba could pitch. Now the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded to first. Stanley goes to one knee, grabs it, goes to the bag. Inning is over. But the 2-run homer by Travis Fryman gives the Indians a 5-2 lead. We head to the 3rd. Charlie Nagy works with a 3-run lead. 5-2 Tribe. We go to the 3rd. And for the Red Sox, Trot Nixon, the number 9 hitter, to lead it off. Boston getting its runs on a Nomar Garciaparra home run, a 2-run shot in the first. The Indians getting 3 in the first. Omar Vizquel doubled in a run. Jim Thome hit a 2-run homer to right center. Then Travis Fryman hit a 2-run homer to left in the second. 5-2 Tribe. Nixon had 5 RBIs last night. Left-handed batter, taking it's a strike at the knees. You can celebrate the Indians' 5th straight Central Division crown with all kinds of caps found at your neighborhood Indians team shops. The 0-1 pitch, and it just missed wide. 1-1. Christopher Trotman Nixon. The pitch inside at his feet. 2-1. He had back problems in 94 and 95. That slowed his development after being a first-round pick in 93, spurning a college football scholarship from North Carolina State. The pitch, check swing, a strike. Nope, he did not go around, says Chuck Merriweather. And it's 3-1.
I think he may have surprised the Red Sox with the power that he showed this year, and he had a pretty good year for a young player.
The pitch, he hits it foul by first, full count. Well, he had 12 of his 15 homers after the break. And he gives them some thump right there in that number 9 spot. Last year, the bottom of the order killed Boston in the playoffs. This year, that's not been the story. Now the payoff pitch from Nagy. A swing and a foul back. Let's pause and let stations identify themselves on the Indians Radio Network.
The home of Cleveland Indians baseball is
The Big One.
News Radio WTAM 1100.
Cleveland.
Tom Hamilton, Mike Keegan, Dave Nelson. Tribe leading 5-2, 3rd inning. Payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. Nagy's first free pass, and he walks the number 9 hitter. Now the top of the order, and Jose Offerman, who grounded to short his first time up. Indians baseball brought to you in part by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Nixon takes a short lead. Nagy's pitch, and Offerman wanted to bunt, ran to the front of the box and took a pitch inside for ball 1.
Well, Charlie is working inside. He did against Trot Nixon, first pitch right there against Offerman, which is like what you like to see him do.
Nagy ready. The 1-0 pitch. Runner goes. Offerman hits a ground ball single up the middle. On his way to third is Nixon. And on the hit and run, the Red Sox are threatening. Runners at first and third with nobody out for the red hot John Valentin. John Valentin tapped one back to the mound his first time up. Well, Nagy was saved last inning by Robbie Alomar. Now he's in a jam. Valentin has struggled in his career, batting .160 against Nagy, but nobody's been hotter the last 2 games than Valentin. 6 hits, 3 of them home runs, 10 RBIs. He had 7 RBIs, a playoff record last night. Infield double play depth, the pitch, and it's a strike. Knee high to Valentin.
Well, on that last situation, Tom, they started the runner. They started Trot Nixon, and Offerman hit the ball up the middle. Offerman batting from the left side, and so Robbie Alomar stayed at home with Omar Vizquel covering.
Nagy's pitch, down low, 1-1.
And that ground ball was hit up the second base side of the bag. If Robbie's covering, he probably gets to it, but
yeah,
not so, having stayed in his position.
And now the Red Sox a chance to cut into this Indians 3-run lead here in the 3rd. The 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. Got him to chase a curve low and away.
Well, that's the difference. Yesterday, he saw a lot of balls in the middle of the plate. Most, as we said, major league hitters are going to hit balls in the middle of the plate. Garciaparra hit one in the first inning. But Charlie has so far here has made good pitches to John Valentin.
And the fans come to their feet at jam-packed Jacobs Field. Nagy ready. And the 1-2 delivery. And he just missed outside with it. Shulak took a long look at it. 2-2 the count as Sandy Alomar held the pose. Nagy will check it first. Offerman led Boston with 18 steals. Nixon at third. Nagy ready. 2-2 pitch. A swing and a shot foul outside of third. And the count stays 2-2. Valentin retightens the batting gloves. He had knee problems this year. Missed a month of the season after the break. Nagy tosses to first. Offerman back standing.
He was hurting when the Red Sox came in September. We saw Wilton Veras at third base during that series.
John Valentin awaiting the 2-2 pitch from Nagy. Here it comes. A swing and a pop-up foul out of play to the right into the club seats. We'll do it again at 2-2. Valentin played at St. Anthony's High School in Jersey City. That has been quite a high school for basketball. He played for Bobby Hurley's dad and started with David Rivers, who later went on to the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame and played in the NBA. Hurley then, or I should say Valentin, then went to Seton Hall to play baseball. The pitch. Swung on, ground ball wide of third. Diving stop by Fryman from his knees. Throws to second for the force. A run will score, but Fryman takes a hit away from Valentin. Nixon scores. Offerman out at second. Valentin on at first with a fielder's choice and his 11th RBI in the series. Tribe now leading 5-3.
And a tremendous play by Travis Fryman, showing that maybe he's getting some of that range back. Tom, that ball was hit far to his left, and he really made a good effort to get off the ball and make a good stop.
2 weeks ago, he doesn't get to that ball.
No way.
One down for Brian Daubach. Left-handed hitter with very good power. The pitch to him. And it's underneath his arms, ball one. Well, Nagy has really been saved here by the Indians defense the last 2 innings. Robbie Alomar, 2 brilliant plays. Travis Fryman, a terrific diving play here in the third. Tribe with a 2-run lead. Tomey plays behind Valentin at first. The pitch, and it caught the outside edge. A strike to even the count. Daubach singled and scored in the first. He is 2 for 12 in this series. Really tailed off in September and simply wasn't making contact. He was striking out almost every other at-bat. The pitch. And it's a little outside, 2-1. Daubach had a big home run off Ricardo Rincon to pretty much blow it open on Saturday night. Five to 3 Tribe, third inning. 1 out, Valentin at first. Nagy's pitch. Swung on, hit high and fairly deep to left. Back goes Cordero. Near the wall, jumps up, he can't make the catch. Ball is retrieved by Lofton as it rolls back toward the infield. And a double for Daubach. At third is Valentin, and now Nomar Garciaparra to the plate. Well, Cordero is not a great outfielder. He got back to the wall, jumped up, and just missed making the catch. And he got pretty high, just couldn't quite get it.
Just couldn't quite get to it. He made a good play. Looked like he took a pretty good turn back to the wall.
Now Sandy Alomar and the Indians manager, Mike Hargrove, heading to the mound with first base open and Garciaparra coming to the plate. Talking about Cordero not being a great outfielder, but even a great outfielder would have had a hard time making a catch on that one.
He timed his jump. He was back there, timed the jump, just couldn't get to it.
So Boston has a chance here with a base hit to tie the game. Tribe leading 5-3. Red Sox at second and third. One down here in the third, and this Red Sox ball club refuses to go away. Garciaparra hit a 2-run homer to straightaway center in the first. Will the Indians pitch to him with Troy O'Leary due next, a left-handed hitter?
That may have been the topic of conversation.
And they'll walk him. An intentional pass to Garciaparra. He's done enough damage this year in the regular season and in the playoffs. 7 homers and 20 RBIs against Tribe pitching.
And Tom, if Troy O'Leary beats you, that's fine. But this guy has hurt the Indians so much this year, and he did it again in the first inning tonight. There's not too often that you will put the go-ahead run on base. Yeah. But when it's Nomar Garciaparra, it's like they used it against the Braves and Chipper Jones.
Yep.
I mean, 1 run's better than 3.
Now Troy O'Leary. O'Leary, a dangerous hitter. 28 homers and 103 RBIs in the regular season. But so far he has scuffled in the playoffs, batting .118. The Red Sox have loaded the bases with 1 out here in the third. Tribe leading 5-3. Infield double play depth. O'Leary played straight up, fairly deep. Nagy sets, delivers. O'Leary hits one deep to right center. On the run is Ramirez, but this ball is gone. A grand slam by Troy O'Leary to right center. And Boston's on top 7-5. And so walking Garciaparra isn't the answer tonight either, because Troy O'Leary has his first postseason RBI here in 1999. And last year he went 1 for 16 against the Indians in the playoffs. So what a huge swing that is. And now the Indians bullpen gets busy.
Well, and another 5-run inning for the Red Sox. A hanging breaking ball by Charles Nagy. First pitch. And O'Leary just jumped on it.
Now Mike Stanley, the pitch. Inside, ball 1. So the Indians had a 5-2 lead, and Nagy can't hold it. And it's 7-5 Boston. Stanley struck out his first time up. Jared right up in the Indians' pen. That pitch down low, 2-0. The wind and the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and missed, 2-1. Indians pitching against the Boston Red Sox has come apart at the seams here in the last 3 ball games. Nagy into the motion, 2-1 pitch. Swung on a smash to third, Fryman up with it. He'll throw to first for the out. The Red Sox scored 9 runs on Saturday. They scored those 9 runs from the 5th inning on. Then in 8 innings last night, they scored 23 runs. So that's 32 runs in a total of, 12 innings. 32 runs in 12 innings, and then 7 more tonight. Now to the plate, Jason Varitek loops one into shallow left center, and Cordero makes the catch. The inning is over. Boston gets 5, and they lead 7-5. We go to the bottom of the third. An amazing turn of events. The Red Sox with a 5-run third lead, 7-5. Boston has now scored 39 runs off Indians pitching in the last 15 innings. 39 runs in 15 innings. And the Indians have to go back to work offensively. Robbie Alomar, Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome against the tough right-hander Derek Lowe. Robbie Alomar lined to first his first time up. Bret Saberhagen went 1 inning, gave up 5 runs. Lowe came on last inning and retired the 3 he faced, his second inning of work. He delivers. Alomar takes, it's high, ball 1. Derek Lowe has never had a bad outing against the Tribe. And now he works with a 2-run lead and a chance to move on in the playoffs. The pitch. Robbie takes, it's way high and outside, 2-0.
Well, the good news, Tom, is that it's still early. But,
Yep.
I mean, somebody has got to be able to stop this Red Sox offense. Got to make some pitches.
A strike delivered, 2-1 to Alomar. Well, it's amazing when a team gets on a roll.
Oh.
In close on the grass at third, Valentin. The next pitch. Outside, it missed. 3-1 to Robbie Alomar. Well, Red Sox led 2-0. Indians came back in the first, took a 3-2 lead, made it 5-2. Now it's 7-5 Boston. Alomar taking, it's a strike, and the count is full. The man on deck needs to get it going. Manny Ramirez. Now Derek Lowe's payoff pitch. Swung on and lined to right center. That's a base hit. It's in the gap. This ball is going all the way to the wall. Robbie's on his way to second. Robbie will stop with a double. So Alomar with his fourth double in the playoffs. And the tying run comes to the plate. And Manny Ramirez, desperate to break out of it, he is 0 for 16. This is one of those games where it's like a heavyweight slugging match.
Just toe-to-toe.
Every time one opponent has been knocked to the canvas, they've been able to get back up. Now Manny to the plate. Hit a shallow fly to right in the first. The outfield opens a big gap in left center for Ramirez. The outfielder's fairly deep. Lowe delivers. Manny taking, it's low and inside, ball one. No breeze here tonight. A delightful fall evening off the shores of Lake Erie. The Tribe down 7-5, bottom of the third. Lowe delivers. Manny takes, low and away, 2-0. And this is a rare sight. Derek Lowe pitching from behind.
You know, he's a youngster, Tom. You talked about pressure in the playoffs. And all of a sudden, here he is with a 2-run lead in a game when they can clinch. And things get a little different. And Joe Kerrigan, their pitching coach out there, trying to tell him, hey, it's no different than it was when you came in relief and you were behind. You got to go out here now and hold this lead.
Derek Lowe, after the visit, takes a stroll behind the mound. 7 runs, 5 hits for Boston. 5 runs, 5 hits for Cleveland. Each team has slugged a pair of home runs. 2-0 the count on Manny Ramirez. Alomar with a leadoff double at second. Now the pitch. A swing and a bullet. Hit to right center. Base hit in the gap. This ball goes to the track. Manny on his way to second. Robbie Alomar scores. Tribe down a run, 7-6. Ramirez with his first hit, an RBI in this series.
Well, a big one it was. Not only that, another double with nobody out. An opportunity for the Indians again to tie it up.
And a good sign when Manny also goes the other way. Now the Indians with a tying run at second, nobody out. Jim Thome to the plate. Hit a mammoth 3-run home run to right center in the first, 477 feet. The outfield deep straightaway. Thome swings and misses at the heat. Thome in this series, 3 homers, and he has now knocked in 8. He hit the 2-run homer, I should say, in the first, not a 3-run. He had a 2-run homer off Derek Lowe the other day. He takes a good curveball for strike 2.
I was just thinking all year we've talked about when you get to the playoffs, it's pitching and defense. Well, so much for that theory.
7-6 Boston, third inning. Both managers may use everybody in the bullpen tonight. The 0-2 pitch. Outside and high, 1-2. Derek Lowe came along with Jason Varitek from Seattle for Heathcliff Slocum. A tremendous trade for Dan Duquette and Boston. He delivers. Thome hits a drive to deep center. This ball is going. It is gone. Tribe. Toby 2 homers tonight, 4 RBIs. He hit it to dead center. Have we seen balls crushed tonight?
It's only the 3rd inning.
Everybody out of the Indians' dugout to mob Tomey and Ramirez. And the fans want a curtain call. Tomey out to wave. Baines stepping out. 8-7 Tribe, bottom of the 3rd. This is Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And Pedro Martinez up in the Boston pen. Baines chops one towards second. Offerman up, throws to first. 1 down. Tomey now 4 homers, 10 RBIs in this series.
Well, and Pedro is getting loose out in right field. It's going to be interesting to see if he comes in and what he's got when he does.
He's also joined by Rod Beck. In other words, Boston's not certain that he can get loose and feel comfortable. So they both begin to warm up. And Rod Beck is the Boston closer, or so we thought. Here's Will Cordero. He takes a curveball strike. What a first 3 innings. Tribe up 8-7 in the 3rd. The pitch. A swing and a foul back. 2 quick strikes on Cordero, who singled off the wall and left his first time up. The only person relaxing right now is Joe Torre. Everybody else on the edge of their seats in Boston and Cleveland. The pitch. A swing and a miss. Chased one low and away. Lowe strikes out Cordero. Second strikeout for Derek Lowe. 2 down in the 3rd. Here's Travis Fryman. He hit a 2-run home run to left in the 2nd. Mike, the thing about getting Pedro Martinez up, if you get him up, don't you want to bring him in?
I would think you have to bring him in. Maybe Jimmy Williams is going to let Lowe finish this inning. I mean, if you get him up, you can't sit him down and start him all over again, can you?
Fryman taking a curveball strike. I wouldn't think. Fryman had the great line after game 1. He said, Derek Lowe is the sole reason that my sons will be taught how to switch hit. Because it is not fair to be a right-handed hitter facing Derek Lowe. A sinker that moves down and in, a curve that moves down and away. The curve, a strike, 0-2 the count. I'm amazed Rod Beck is up as well. 8-7 Tribe, bottom of the 3rd, 2 down, nobody on. Derek Lowe ready, and the 2-strike pitch. A swing and a ground ball sharply hit to short. Backhanded by Garciaparra, he throws out Fryman. But the Indians rally for 3 of their own. The fans back on their feet. Back at Jacobs Field, these fans, they have seen more baseball in 3 innings than you'll see in a week. 8-7 Tribe. We go to the 4th. Here's Mike Egan.
All right, Tom, a lot more than we expected to see in 3 innings. David Nelson joins us, and we go to the top of the 4th inning with Darren Lewis to face Charles Nagy. Pedro Martinez still throwing in the bullpen. The first pitch to Darren Lewis is outside, ball 1. Well, just the way we scripted it, right, Davey?
Oh, yeah.
A pitcher's battle.
Yeah. Man, I heard you made the comment that we thought coming to postseason it's going to be pitching and defense.
1-0 pitch is in and over for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, we've seen some great defense, but not a whole lot of
good pitching. No, you are right about that. 8 runs on 7 hits for the Indians, 7 runs on 5 hits for Boston. Nagy's still in there. This one hit high and deep to left. If it's fair, it's got a chance to get out of here. It's off the wall. Cordero rounds it up on the first hop, and Darren Lewis is into second with a leadoff double. Sean DePaulo was up throwing in the Indian bullpen. Jarrett Wright had been up, and I believe it's Sean DePaulo who is throwing out there. in the Indian bullpen. Mike Hargrove making a trip to the mound, and he's going to talk to Charles Nagy. He's going to make the move. So that's going to be it for Charles Nagy as he leaves the ball game here, having given up 7 runs in 3+ innings. So the 2 starting pitchers here tonight, Davey, Saberhagen goes 1+, Nagy goes 3+.
Yeah, and well, it's not a good sign for the Indians bullpen.
So it will be the young right-hander Sean DePaula. The Indians clinging to a 1-run lead, 8-7. We'll be back. Well, a very, very tough assignment for a young man by the name of Sean DePaula, 25-year-old right-hander out of Derry, New Hampshire. 6'4", 220 pounds, and what a whirlwind year this has been for young Mr. DePaula. He began it at Class A Kinston, went to AA Akron, AAA Buffalo, and here he is in the division playoffs, facing Trot Nixon with a runner at second base, and the Indians leading by 1. First pitch, swing and a miss to Trot Nixon. Charles Nagy went 3+ innings, allowed 7 runs on 6 base hits. Outfield straight away for Nixon, who walked and scored in the 3rd. Out of the stretch comes DePaula. And the 0-1 pitch is a fastball taken outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, David, we talked a little bit about Derek Lowe feeling the butterflies after his team had gotten the lead back, and you got to wonder what Sean DePaula might be feeling right here.
Well, I think his stomach is just probably jumping pretty good.
The 1-1 pitch is hit in the air to center field. Back goes Lofton at the track, still going back, looking up at the wall. He makes the catch and gets it back quickly as the runner at second base, Darren Lewis, was about halfway, never tagged up. He stays at second base. What a big play that could be.
It can be a very, very big play because he went too far. I am not a big believer on fly balls that a runner goes halfway, because by the time you go halfway and you see he's going to catch the ball, you have to sprint back to the base to try to tag and then go. It's too late. And that's exactly what happened to Darren Lewis.
Oh, especially, Davey, with nobody out.
That's a brain cramp.
He could have walked to third base if he had tagged up. So a long out as Trot Nixon sent Kenny Lofton to the wall in center field, deepest part of the ballpark. Now back to the top of the order, and Jose Offerman. Offerman shows bunt, bunts it towards first, but it will go foul as Tomei picks it up in foul territory. Offerman 1 for 2 tonight, but he has had a big series. 7 base hits in 16 at-bats for Jose Offerman. Boy, this has been just an offensive series.
Boy, I mean, we're talking about some big hits, too. And I think right here, Mike, the Indians have to be careful and don't let Darren Lewis steal third base. Even though there's a left-handed hitter at the plate, Travis Fryman playing in on the grass to take the bunt away.
And Jim Tomei playing back at third base. Offerman takes a high pitch up in the strike zone, and the crowd thought it was a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Started after it held up, and it was called high, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Offerman with 1 out. Outfield straight away. And the pitch from DePaula is hit in the air off to the left side and out of play. 8-7 Indians. Pedro Martinez had been throwing out in the bullpen, and I don't see any activity out there right now. We'll see if they bring him in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Well, he's been throwing a long time, so he's probably loose.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch to Offerman, a little low, and it's 2-2. Well, he had probably what he would need if he were going to be a start a ball game.
And when they got him up, they also got Rod Beck up, but that was just in case Pedro says no, I can't go.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Darren Lewis, the runner at second base. DePaula is ready. He comes set, and the 2-2 pitch way upstairs. Sandy Alomar had to leap way up to his left to grab that ball. It was headed for the backstop.
I tell you what, that is great reaction by Sandy Alomar. A ball thrown that hard and that far high and wide to react to catch that ball. Thank goodness Sandy's 6'5".
Yeah, no way Anar Diaz would get that one.
That's right.
So a full count now. Payoff pitch coming to Jose Offerman with the runner at second base, and now time called as they took a little too long settling on the signs. 1 out, full count. Game 5, and it has been a dandy so far. The pitch to Offerman, breaking ball inside, ball 4. Didn't miss by much, and now they've got the runner hung up at second base. Sandy Alomar throws the ball away, and Lewis will go to third. Darren Lewis got out into no man's land. They had him caught in a rundown, and Sandy Alomar threw the ball away into center field. So Lewis will go to third, and Offerman stays at first on the walk. Boy, he was just dead to rights.
And sometimes maybe that's the toughest play for a catcher when you're running like that and the guy's just hung out to dry. You want to make a good throw, and you take a little off and you lob the ball and it sails high.
They had him going back to the bag, no question about it. He was trying to maybe sneak off, got caught. And Sandy trying to get him back to the bag. Actually, it looked like he thought there was a runner at first base the way he went. This one, a breaking ball to John Valentin. And it's down low, ball 1. Davey, we saw a replay there. He started to walk towards third base thinking there was a runner on first.
Exactly. So since it was ball 4, he said, okay, I'm going to third base.
Wow. And Sandy made the mistake, so the tying run is at third base with 1 out. Here's Valentin, and the pitch is up high, 2-0. Two balls and no strikes.
Mike, one of the things when Sean DePaula made his debut, he said he couldn't slow himself down. He was so nervous and his stomach turning, and he said, if I get in ball games now in postseason, I just have to remember, I know I'm going to be nervous, but I need to slow myself down and just try to think very positively.
Well, and Phil Regan is out to the mound right now, probably to tell him just that. You don't want this game to get out of reach again.
Well, and the thing there, Sandy could have helped him out and got him out of that a jam right there and got Lewis out at second base, and that would have taken a little bit of the pressure off.
So 2 balls and no strikes on John Valentin, who has driven in a run on a fielder's choice tonight. Indians could use a double playground ball right here with runners at first and third. 8-7 Cleveland, but the Red Sox threatening again. And the 2-0 pitch inside, 3 balls and no strikes. 3-0 on Valentin with the left-hander Brian Daubach coming up. Daubach's got 2 hits tonight. To this point, there have been 15 runs and 13 hits, and there has not been a base runner left on base tonight. Everybody who has gotten on has scored. The 3-0 pitch is hit in the air deep to left field. Back goes Cordero at the track. He will make the catch, but the runner will tag and score, and it's a tie ball game, 8-8. So a sacrifice fly for John Valentin at the green light. He drives in his second run of the ball game and his 12th of this series. And we're tied 8-8. And boy, that play is very big now, Davey. The ball that Sandy Alomar threw away and allowed the runner to go to third.
Oh, yeah. Boy.
2 outs, runner at first base. Here's Ryan Daubach. All tied 8-8. Daubach hits one high in the air to short left field. Coming on is Cordero, going out is Vizquel, and Cordero makes the play. That retires the side, but the Red Sox score 1, and they tie it 8-8. Well, we are back here at Jacobs Field, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And Pedro Martinez will come on and work for the Red Sox. Apparently, Pedro Martinez working out in the bullpen alerted Jimmy Williams that he's okay.
Yeah.
They're going to go with Martinez here, who in the regular season just dominated American League teams with a 23-4 record and a 2.07 earned run average. He struck out 313 batters in 37 innings pitched, and he will face Sandy Alomar here, and Sandy takes outside, ball one. Pitched game one in this series, and Pedro went 4 innings and struck out 3 before having to leave the ball game. That's ball 2. Gave up 3 hits and no runs in game 1. 2 balls and no strikes. Lofton would be next, and then Omar Vizquel. The pitch is a strike over the inside corner. 2-1.
Mike, I think the one thing that Pedro Martinez has going for him, number one, he knows how to pitch, and he has all of his pitches, and he's a strike thrower, and he can locate and pinpoint his
Here's
ball.
The 2-1 pitch is hit in the air, and this will go out of play off to the right. The problem would be, Davey, is the pain. Is there any pain there? And he has made a pretty good recovery, apparently. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch to Sandy is hit on the ground to short. Charged by Garciaparra. Big hop. And he slingshots it over to first for the first out here in the 4th inning. So 1 up, 1 down, and it will take us back to the top of the order and Kenny Lofton.
Well, and what a relief it's going to give the Boston bench and team and an uplift if somebody can have a 1-2-3 inning.
Well, how about the Indians? They could use the same thing.
That's right.
Here's Kenny, and the pitch to Lofton. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes. No, he didn't, said Chuck Merriweather. So it's a ball down low on a changeup taken by Kenny Lofton. They are pinched up at the corners. Valentin at third and Stanley at first base. Valentin way up on the grass at third. And the outfield shaded toward left. Kenny has walked, stolen second, and scored. Last time up, he popped up, and the pitch is a strike right under the hands. And Kenny thought it was inside, but it was called a strike by John Shulock. The wind on the 1-1 pitch to Lofton is fouled off, and it's 1-2. Well, we'll see a couple of things here unfold. You know how this guy feels, how long he can go. All tied 8-8. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Kenny Lofton. Martinez ready, and the pitch is inside. Did he go around? No. Again on the appeal, Chuck Merriweather says no. So it's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. The pitch is lined, and 1 hop stop by Stanley at first. He gets up and throws out Lofton with Martinez covering the bag. Lofton with a head first slide, but Martinez beat him to the bag, and Kenny is down. Kenny did not get up. He had that head first slide into first base, and I think he might have done something to the left hand.
He certainly did. Kenny's not used to sliding head first. This is what, playing in the postseason and the game on the line will do. Players try to do a little bit too much, and Kenny going head first, and that bag doesn't move. He didn't get his hand up, and it looked like he jammed his finger or his hands into the base.
He was very late sliding. A great stop by Stanley on a 1 hop. He backhanded the ball and then led Martinez to the bag. And Kenny Lofton was very late with that slide, Davey. It looked like he hit his hand and then his chest and his shoulder as he went way over the bag. When Robbie Alomar does it, he starts early and he almost stops at the bag.
Kenny,
he may have been safe.
Well, it was awfully close. Awfully close.
But Kenny Lofton is still down and being attended to over there. Mike Hargrove, Brian Graham, and I can't see whether that is Paul Spicuzza or Jimmy Warfield.
Boy, Mike, you're right. That was awfully too close to the bag to slide with. When you're generating that much force, I mean, you're hitting awfully hard, and I'm sure he did something to his shoulder or his arm.
Well, he's trying. He's trying to move that left shoulder and arm, and he's obviously in pain. Jimmy Warfield, the Indians trainer, is there. Whether he hyperextended it or jammed it back in, it was as you look at it again, and we've seen it from different angles, it was a violent, a violent collision with the first base bag. And now Kenny again trying to move that arm and shoulder, and in obvious pain. He's up on his feet now.
I wonder, Mike, if it might have popped out and then popped back in. I don't know. We're just speculating here, but he went in off. That was a lot of force hitting the ground.
Well, he is up and still holding that shoulder in pain. And now he can't even straighten up as he walks off the field. He cannot even straighten up. It almost looks like, Davey, they're going to have to call for a stretcher.
Yeah.
But he's pointing to the shoulder, his left shoulder. Yeah. And now he's going to be helped off, but Jimmy Warfield is holding that left arm and shoulder in place. And I would think that tells you he dislocated something in there.
Something might have popped out.
So if the Indians' problems aren't bad enough, they will lose Kenny Lofton here.
You know, Mike, I just saw something as Kenny and Jimmy Warfield is escorting Kenny off the field. Pedro Martinez came up to him, gave him a pat on the behind.
Yeah, well, Kenny still walking very, very slowly, and just now approaching the Indian dugout, getting a nice round of applause from the fans here, but he is in deep, deep pain.
Yeah, he's hurting. He
is really hurting, now being escorted by both Paul Spicuzza and Jimmy Warfield. He'll head down the steps and into the Indians' locker room. And back here at Jacobs Field, and Omar Vizquel takes the ball down low. Ball one from Pedro Martinez, 2 outs. And the pitch to Vizquel is a strike at the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 down in the 4th inning, and the news just got worse for the Indians.
Yes.
1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch is hit right at the first baseman, Mike Stanley, who catches it in the air, a soft liner. And that will do it as the Indians go in order here in the 4th inning. And they'll come out in the 5th, tied 8-8 without Kenny Lofton. We move to the 5th inning here at Jacobs Field, all tied 8-8. And Dave Roberts will stay in the ball game to play center field. Came on as the pinch runner for Kenny Lofton, and he will remain in the game. In the 5th inning here, it will be Garciaparra, O'Leary, and Stanley for the Red Sox against right-hander Sean DePaula. Garciaparra has homered and walked. This one, a breaking ball, has a check swing. He homered with a man on in the 1st inning to give the Red Sox a 2-0 lead. Was intentionally walked to load the bases in the 3rd. And Troy O'Leary hit a grand slam home run. This pitch, swing and a miss. Sean DePaula with a couple of good breaking balls at Nomar Garciaparra, and it's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. DePaula looking for the sign for Alomar, shakes one off. Now he's ready, and he swings and misses. A good breaking ball again. And Sean DePaula has struck out Nomar Garciaparra on 3 pitches.
And 3 dandy breaking balls. And after the first 2, Sandy set up just a hair further outside, and DePaula hit the glove with the breaking ball.
1 out, and here is Troy O'Leary, who hit the grand slam home run in the 3rd inning. DePaula fires a strike, letter high on the inside corner, 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. DePaula into the windup, and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball a bit outside, and now time was called. Was it no pitch?
Yes, Troy O'Leary had called timeout, but he didn't hear John Shulock say anything. Shulock was waving his arms, And DePaula didn't see that, and he just continued his windup.
So it was no pitch. The count remains 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This one chopped towards second. Charged by Alomar on the big hop, underhands to first base, and there are 2 down. So Sean DePaula gets Troy O'Leary and Nomar Garciaparra here, 1-2 in the 5th inning. And it appears, at least for the moment, that he has settled down.
Well, he certainly has. It looks that way. And you know what? I mean, he's the one guy out of the bullpen that has done a pretty good job, Mike.
2 down, Mike Stanley, the hitter. He's 0 for 2 tonight after a big night last night. Of course, all the Red Sox hitters, most of the Red Sox hitters had big nights last night. That one goes all the way to the screen as it was in the dirt and past Sandy Alomar. Give you a quick look at the McDonald Investment Game Summary. The official investment firm to the Cleveland Indians backs him away with a fastball that time, and it's 2-0. Red Sox took the lead in the 1st inning on a 2-run homer by Nomar Garciaparra. The Indians came back to take the lead in the bottom of the inning. RBI double by Omar Vizquel, and then a 2-run, that one foul back, 2-1. A 2-run homer by Jim Thome. They made it 5-2 in the 2nd inning on a 2-run homer by Travis Fryman. Red Sox scored 5 in the 3rd, and the Indians came back with 3 in the 3rd inning. There's a breaking ball in and over, taken for a strike. Troy O'Leary has a grand slam home run. Garciaparra a 2-run homer, and Jim Thome a pair of 2-run homers. The pitch just a bit outside, and it's a full count now on Mike Stanley, the Red Sox first baseman. Crowd is on its feet. They would like to see a strikeout right here. The pitch, low, ball 4, he walked him. So Stanley heads to first base, and it will bring up the catcher, Jason Varitek, a switch hitter batting left-handed against the right-hander, DePaula. Runner at first base with 2 outs. Eight runs on 6 hits for the Red Sox, 8 runs on 7 hits for the Indians. And Varitek ready. The pitch is inside, ball 1. Jim Thome down at first base playing behind Stanley, not a threat to steal, and the left-handed hitter, or make that Varitek a switch hitter, but batting from the left side. This one outside, 2-0.
You know, right now, Sean DePaula's having trouble with his fastball, which is he has a pretty good fastball, but he's not been able to locate it for strikes, but he's been able to do it with his breaking ball.
I'll see if Sandy goes to it right here. He's behind 2-0. And the pitch, there's a strike taken at the knees. That's a pretty good fastball right there. Hit 95 on the gun. And it's 2 balls and a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. We are in the 5th inning of Game 5 of the Division Series here. The winner moves on. The loser goes home. Breaking ball, strike 2. Good call, Davey Nelson, right there.
It certainly was.
Yeah.
And actually, I watched Sean DePaula shook Sandy off twice and then shook his head yes for the breaking ball. That's what he wanted to throw.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Varitek. The pitch is swung on and tapped foul. Got a piece of it at the plate. Looked like another breaking ball or off-speed pitch, and it's still 2-2. Varitek 0 for 2 tonight. He was robbed of a base hit by Robbie Alomar in the 2nd inning. Robbie made 2 tremendous defensive plays back-to-back in the 2nd. DePaula ready. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Is chopped foul again off to the first base side, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Stanley, the runner at first. Jim Thome playing behind him and now moves way back. And the 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out with the high heat, and the inning is over. The Indians go to the bottom of the 5th, all tied 8-8. Bottom of the 5th inning here at Jacobs Field. Mike Hegan, Dave Nelson. and Tom Hamilton with you as Pedro Martinez finish his warm-up tosses. All heads down to second base, and we'll begin the bottom of the fifth with Robbie Alomar, then Manny Ramirez, and Jim Thome against the guy who, if he doesn't win the Cy Young Award, something's wrong.
Let me tell you what, he's got it hands down.
And a lot of folks wouldn't be surprised if he won the MVP as well.
Well, that's true, but I'm not a big fan of a pitcher winning the MVP.
So Pedro Martinez, who came on to work the fourth inning, out there again here in the fifth and deals to Robbie Alomar, who takes a ball outside. 1 ball and no strike on Robbie, 1 for 2. He scored a run in the third inning. And Robbie 7 for 17 now in the playoffs, and takes a breaking ball, showed bunt, pulled it back, but the breaking ball dropped in for a strike. They are playing up at the corners with Valentin on the grass at third, and Robbie hits one past third base but slices foul. Had Valentin playing up, tried to shoot one by him, but sliced it foul.
And I think the one thing I think the Indians hitters have to remember, how successful were they against Pedro in making him throw a lot of pitches.
Yep. Outfield shaded toward left, gap in right center field, and Robbie takes outside, 2-2. Made him work right there, and has even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lewis playing fairly shallow for Robbie Alomar and shaded toward left. Big gap in right center. That's where he hit the double. 2-2 delivery outside, 3-2, and Robbie is working Martinez very well right now. Manny Ramirez in the on-deck circle. And a full count. The payoff pitch to Alomar is hit on the ground to short. Big hop for Nomar Garciaparra. He hustles and throws him out. So Robbie retired 6-3, 1 out, and it will bring Manny Ramirez to the plate. Today's Cleveland Live playoff question of the game is, what is your top postseason memory in Jacobs Field? Log on to cleveland.com or indians.com to express your opinion and a chance to win tickets to the Indians opening day 2000 at Jacobs Field. And we'll give you the results of Sunday's poll. The pitch to Manny Ramirez backs him away, but drops over for a strike, a curveball. Started, it looked like right at Ramirez, and dropped it over the inside corner. 0-1 on Manny, who broke an 0 for 16 slump with an RBI double in the third. The results of yesterday's poll, which Tribe rookie or first-year player had the biggest impact on the team this season? 0-1 to Ramirez, upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. 59% voted for Einar Diaz.
Oh, okay.
And I agree with that.
Yes, I certainly do too.
He had a tremendous year, hasn't been used much here in the playoffs, but boy, what a job he did filling in for Sandy Alomar. 1 ball, 1 strike. Manny takes outside, 2-1.
Well, Kenny Lofton left the game with the dislocated left shoulder.
Yeah, you could tell he really jammed it into the bag at first base. What a shame. So I would assume that his season is over. Whether the Indians advance or not. Look out. That ball over the head of Manny Ramirez looked like a breaking ball that got away from Pedro. Manny had to duck out of the way.
Well, and what Pedro wanted to do was throw another breaking ball that starts at Manny and breaks away, but it basically just slipped out of his hand.
3 balls and 1 strike on Manny Ramirez. Here's the pitch. A strike called, fastball, and Manny was looking for something else.
Boy, I tell you what.
That pitch was right there.
It was about a 91-mile-an-hour fastball right down Broadway.
I don't think he'll see it there again.
Nope.
Full count, 3-2.
Change up or a breaking ball.
Here's the payoff pitch to Ramirez, and this one in the dirt. He walked him. Good at bat for Manny Ramirez and Davey here. Both Robbie Alomar and Manny Ramirez have worked the counts full.
Yes, they certainly have.
Pedro has thrown a number of pitches, and the applause you hear is for Jim Thome. And what a night, what a series he has had. 2 two-run homers tonight He has now hit 4 home runs in this series. And he's up there with a runner at first and 1 out. The pitch to Thome backs him away inside. It's 1-0. And with the 2 home runs tonight, Jim Thome now has 16 career postseason home runs. He moves ahead of Babe Ruth.
Yes, and that's moving ahead of some very good company.
Mickey Mantle and Reggie Jackson are tied for the lead most postseason home runs with 16. Here's the pitch to Thome, and it's down low, 2-0. So now in the annals of baseball history in postseason, it is Mickey Mantle, Reggie Jackson, Jim Thome, and then Babe Ruth. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Some heady company right there. And a good spot for Jimmy here, 2-0. Ramirez at first, tied 8-8. This one in the dirt. 3 balls and no strikes, and I'll guarantee you that Jimmy will have the green light. He's a pretty good hitter, 3-0.
He is. He's pretty selective. So, I mean, Jimmy's going to look for a pitch where he can really jack the ball, whether it's middle away or middle in.
Might not be a fastball with this guy. 3 balls and no strikes. Martinez in, looking at the sign, comes set. The pitch to Thome is a strike called. Threw him the heat, and Jimmy took it. But it looked like it was middle away on the outside part of the plate.
I think 3-0, Jimmy's sitting inside looking for something he can pull.
1 out, bottom of the 5th inning, and Manny Ramirez at first. A 3-1 count on Jim Thome. Here's the pitch. A breaking ball taken for a strike. Boy, another good pitch by Pedro Martinez. He dropped the breaking ball over the outside corner.
There you are. Throw a 3-1 fastball, then come back with a 3-1 curveball. Now you just say he might throw a 3-2 changeup right here.
Who knows with this guy? Harold Baines waiting on deck with 1 out. Go ahead run at first. A big night for Thome. He'd like to make it bigger. The pitch to Jimmy, swing and a foul back. Or did he swing and miss it? Varitek is going to tag Thome, and he's out. Thome thought he fouled it. Varitek went back to the screen, picked up the ball. Jim Thome stayed at home plate. Thome thought he fouled the ball. It scooted right past Varitek, who went after the ball, came back and tagged Thome.
Well, everybody thought it was a foul ball except Jason Varitek.
Well, John Shulock made no call. Thome thought it was a foul ball. He thought he got a piece.
Yeah.
And by the replay that we saw, Davey, I mean, it was if he got a piece, it was a sliver.
Yeah.
So anyway, it will go as a strikeout. Just add that to the list of strange plays in this series. Thome is tagged out at home plate, and Harold Baines swings and misses at an off-speed pitch from Pedro Martinez.
Well, one of the things as a base runner, when you see a hitter swing and miss, even though you think it's a foul ball, you see the catcher running back. I mean, alertly, you've got to go ahead and run because that ball went way back to the bat stop.
And really, Shulock made no call.
No call. So, you've got to be alert. And the only thing they can do is say, hey, you've got to come back. It was a foul ball.
It was very strange the way the catcher, Varitek, ran after that ball. That pitch outside, 1-1, and Thome just stood at the plate, and Ramirez didn't move. So now there are 2 out, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Harold Baines, who's 0 for 2 tonight, and 5 for 13 in the playoffs. The pitch to Harold is chopped foul off to the right. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, and the one thing, if Jimmy swings and misses like he did, he can't run if he gets past the catcher with first base being occupied. So he's automatically out. But I think that's what fooled Manny Ramirez was the fact that Jim Thome stood there and didn't do anything.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Harold Baines. He has a homer in the series. Has driven in a pair. Throw to first base, but Manny Ramirez is back. Martinez. A long look in for the sign. Now he's ready. Comes set. And the 1-2 pitch to Baines is strike 3 called, and Harold knew it. A fastball over the outside corner that he took. And the 5th is in the books. We're tied 8-8. We are tied 8-8 as this ball game moves to the 6th inning here at Jacobs Field. Back to bring you the rest of the way. Here's Tom Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Mike. 8 runs, 6 hits for Boston. 8 runs, 7 hits for Cleveland. We have not had any scoring from the Indians since the 3rd. Boston last scored in the 4th. Sean DePaula facing the number 8 hitter, Darren Lewis. Mawine and his first pitch. Fastball in there, strike. Right-hander Paul Shuey throwing in the Indians' bullpen. Sean DePaula took over for Charlie Nagy in the 4th. Has worked 2 scoreless innings. Nagy went 3, giving up 8 runs on 6 hits. The 0-1 pitch way outside, and that evens the count at 1-1. For Boston, Bret Saberhagen, the starter, went 1 inning, giving up 5 runs. Derek Lowe gave up 3 runs in 2 innings. Pedro Martinez has worked 2 shutout innings. The next pitch, inside, spinning Lewis out of there. 2 balls and a strike. Lewis 1 for 2 with a double. Robbed of a hit by Robbie Alomar. The next offering, and it's high. 3-1. And you got to wonder now if DePaula is running out of gas. He did pitch in last night's ball game. He won an inning in 2/3. He worked on Saturday a third of an inning. So he's working for the 3rd straight day. The pitch. In there, a strike. Full count.
You know, with the combination of him throwing quite a bit and nerves, it can take a little bit out of you.
Big gap in left center for Darren Lewis. Dave Roberts over toward right center. Payoff pitch. Swung on. Popped up. First base side. Robbie Alomar calling off Jim Thome in foul territory. Puts it away. That's a big out to start the Boston 6th. After DePaula fell behind, 3-1.
Well, and Sean DePaula has very good control, and he was able to come back. The kid shows he is not unnerved right now. And Tom, he's been the bright spot in the bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, this team has not been able to get to get to the situation where they can get Mike Jackson in there, but he is, Sean DePaula has been outstanding.
Incredible. Started the year in A-ball. Now trying to keep the Indians alive in postseason. Trot Nixon steps in, taking it's a strike. Nixon has walked and flied to the wall in center. If you're just joining us, Kenny Lofton dislocated his left shoulder, diving into first base. His season probably over. The 0-1 pitch, inside 1-1. I mean, I don't know how you come back from a dislocated shoulder to play baseball in a day or 2.
You don't. Tom, I think your analysis is correct. I think he's done.
What a shame.
Yes, it is.
Now the 1-1 pitch. Outside 2-1. So the Indians lose Lofton. Burba is done for at least the next series if the Indians go to New York with a strained ligament in his right elbow. Steve Reed can't pitch with a bad elbow. 2-1 pitch, and it just missed inside. 3-1.
Boy, I think John Shulock got fooled on that pitch. That was a pretty good breaking ball. My goodness.
DePaula ready. 3-1 delivery. Swung on a towering fly, fairly deep center, but Dave Roberts has room in front of the track, puts it away. 2 down. Top of the order, Jose Offerman. Offerman tonight, 1 for 2, a single and a walk. He'll bat left-handed. But it's incredible, the injuries.
Ooh.
We know about Fryman, Cordero, Alomar. Now you lose Lofton, dislocated shoulder. You've lost Burba, strained ligament in the right elbow. Carsey can't give you what he did give you because of the bad arm. Reed with a bad elbow. Jose Offerman taking, it's a strike. Yet this bunch of Indians,
they just
still with a shot.
That's right. And if for some reason they can pull this out, they'll go to New York on a wing and a prayer.
The 0-1 pitch. Curveball outside, I guess. 1-1 the count. Well, John Shulak with a very small strike zone. Maybe why it's 8-8. Now the 1-1 pitch. Fastball up. 2-1. Offerman is dangerous. He has 8 home runs. Had one the opposite way last night. Indians are deep in the outfield, a bit toward right. The line by DePaula and the pitch. Swung on, popped up on the infield. Shortstop side, Omar Vizquel calling and catching. What a job by DePaula. Middle of the 6th, another standing ovation, game tied at 8. Will Cordero 1 for 2, a single. The wind and the pitch. Cordero taking a strike from Pedro Martinez. Are you feeling lucky? Play the Super Lotto, the current jackpot, $4 million. Martinez working in a hurry. And now he really slows it down. Normally he's in a hurry. Now Cordero steps out. Don't forget to play the Ohio Lottery's cash kickoff instant game. You could win up to $1,000 instantly. Now the wind and the pitch. And the pitch was high. Cordero stepped out, but he never was given time. Now Martinez is upset. And it'll go as a ball because the pitch was high. 1-1 the count. Cordero stepped out, but he was never given time by John Shulak. And Martinez isn't happy, but he's got nobody to blame but himself.
Well, that's right. And number one, John Shulak, I think, did the right thing because Pedro started his windup and then Cordero wanted to step out.
The pitch. And he got it over the outside corner, a strike. 1-2 the count. Now the 1-2 pitch. Outside 2-2. The Boston pen is quiet. Paul Shuey up in the Indians pen, so Sean DePaula's night probably over. 2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. Chased a curve low and away. Strike 3. Third strikeout for Martinez. Well, you'd never know he's hurt. He has struck out the last 3 Indians.
Well, and the thing about it is, and he's not doing it. Well, he struck out, Jim told me, with a cutter, but basically he's doing it with off-speed stuff. And his velocity's down a little bit, but, hey, you can't tell me that this guy's hurting.
He is throwing a lot of curveballs. Travis Fryman 1 for 2, a 2-run homer to left. The pitch to him. Curveball low and away, ball 1. The Indians have never beaten Pedro Martinez. The wind and the 1-0 pitch. Curveball, strike called, 1-1 the count. Martinez has the sign, rocks and fires. Fryman taking, it's a strike. 1-2 the count. He is keeping the Indians off balance. Now the wind and the next delivery. Swung on, looped in the air to right center. Coming hard is Lewis. The center fielder makes the catch. 2 down. That'll bring up Sandy Alomar, 0 for 2. Sandy batting 143 in the division series. 2 down, nobody on. Game tied 8-8 in the 6th.
You know, Pedro Martinez is just showing you why he's a Cy Young Award winner and then possibly could be an MVP this year, but he is just outstanding.
Sandy Alomar taking one in the dirt, ball 1.
You know, Tom, it's obvious he's not real sharp with as far as his velocity, but he's a strike thrower and he's throwing everything, he's mixing everything up.
The 1-0 pitch down low, 2-0. Well, this is the difference between Pedro and Colon.
Sure.
Right now, Pedro's at that stage in his career. He can beat you even when he doesn't have his great stuff. Bartolo still is working to get there. Alomar fouling it at the plate. 2-1 the count. Pedro worked 4 innings in game 1 last Wednesday night and shut out the Indians on 3 hits, struck out 3, walked 1, then left with that muscle strain. He is 4-0 lifetime against the Tribe. Now the 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1. Well, game 5 is living up to what you would expect a game to be of this magnitude. The winner goes on, the loser's season is over. This has been a dandy. 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. Martinez with a 2-out walk, his second. And now Dave Roberts will bat. Remember, he took over when Kenny Lofton, diving into first back in the 4th inning on a hard hit ball to first, thought he could beat the throw with a head first slide, and he dislocated his shoulder. And that's why that head first slide into first is so dangerous. And now it's cost the Indians Kenny Lofton. Dave Roberts, the man on the spot now. Left-handed hitter. The pitch. And he takes, it's downstairs, ball 1. In this series, Dave Roberts has batted 1 time, 0 for 1.
Pedro Martinez, when he fell behind to Sandy Alomar, he was not going to give in to Sandy and give him a pitch hit. Really tried to nibble and end up walking Sandy, knowing it wasn't Kenny Lofton coming up, but Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts, left-handed batter, the pitch. A swing and a ground ball foul into the Indians' dugout. Cue shot, and the count evens at 1-1. Dave Roberts in the regular season played in 41 games, batted .238, couple of homers, 12 RBIs. The set and the pitch. Inside, 2-1. Boy, who would have thunk it? You're trying to get to the ALCS, and you're counting on Dave Roberts and Sean DePaula, among others, but that's the kind of year it's been for the Indians with so many injuries. And people in the farm system have stepped up and been big-time contributors. Sandy Alomar now tying his shoes, so time has been called.
Well, Sandy wants those shoes nice and tight, so when he's going from first to third, they won't slow him down.
Tribe in an 8-8 game, bottom of the 6th, 2 down, 2-1 the count on Roberts. The outfield shallow. They shade Roberts the other way toward left. Short lead for Alomar at first. Martinez ready, delivers. And he missed high and wide. 3-1. And the fans come to their feet. This crowd has been into it from pitch 1. And as always, the Indians fans know how to respond in October. Now Stanley behind Alomar at first. The pitch. A swing and a foul into the seats behind the plate. Full count on Dave Roberts. So Alomar still not being held at first. So he'll get a pretty good running jump on this 3-2 pitch. If Roberts hits one down the line or into the gap, Sandy could score. Payoff pitch. A swing and a foul into the seats behind home plate. Will do it again at 3-2. Davey, does that surprise you in a tie game they wouldn't hold Sandy?
A little bit, but right there, what they're protecting on right there, Tom, is that Sandy's not running at full strength. But also, it gives Mike Stanley a chance to protect the line a little bit here and get anything if Dave Roberts was to pull the ball to attack that.
Now the payoff pitch. A swing and a miss. Martinez strikes out Roberts to end the inning. We go to the 7th, game still deadlocked at 8. We go to the 7th inning in this game tied at 8, and Paul Shuey coming on now to replace Sean DePaula. What a performance by the Indians rookie right-hander. 3 shutout, hitless innings in relief of Charlie Nagy. Walked 2, struck out 2. Beyond what anybody could have expected.
Well, you know, you're right, Tom, but it's something that the Indians really needed. I mean, they needed somebody to come in and shut this Red Sox ball club down for a couple of innings. And, boy, especially now that you're going against Pedro Martinez, it's going to be tough. But Sean DePaula did the job.
John Valentin will lead off. What a last 3 games he has had. Valentin tonight, 2 more RBIs. He's 0 for 2. The pitch, curveball, isn't there, a strike. Paul Shuey did not look very good last night. And on top of it, he made 39 pitches in one inning of work. When last night he worked an inning giving up 2 runs. The set and the pitch. Swung on, hit back up the middle, knocked down by Shuey, rolls towards second. Base hit for Valentin. Shuey tried to make the play with his bare hand, knocked the ball down, but then it squirted by him towards second base, and Valentin with an infield hit.
Yeah, and not hit all that hard, Tom, but Paul Shuey does not finish all that well in very good balance. He kind of falls off, and so he couldn't get his body turned around to get that with his glove hand. And it just kind of kicked off from his throwing hand and landed in no man's land.
Now Brian Daubach, he is 2 for 3, a double, a single. He has scored twice tonight. Left-handed hitter with good power. The outfield straightaway, medium, well, actually a little more than that, fairly deep. The pitch, curveball, and it drops low, ball 1. The Indians and the Red Sox tied at 8. The winner moves on to New York, flying out of here tonight for Game 1 in the ALCS Wednesday night. Shuey ready. The pitch. Daubach swings and fouls it at the plate. 1-1 the count. On deck, Nomar Garciaparra. By the way, the Yankees disclosed today that Paul O'Neill, who has been hurting on the side since he ran into a railing in Tampa Bay, actually suffered a fractured rib, and they will not know until Wednesday whether or not O'Neill will be able to play. 1-1 the count. Shuey looks over to first. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Daubach chased the high heat. 1-2 the count.
Well, he sure did. That ball way out of the strike zone. And there wasn't much that Daubach could have done with that pitch if he made contact with it.
This portion of Indians baseball brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Shuey sets. He fires. Daubach fouling it into the seats behind the plate. Count still 1-2. Daubach strikes out a lot. And Brian Daubach in this series has struck out 7 times in his 14 plate appearances. The one thing Boston doesn't do a lot of, and that is steal bases, which is good news for Shuey, who doesn't do a very good job with that aspect of the game. Daubach taps one on the right side. Alomar to his left, gloves. Backhanded flip. Thome grabs it. He and Shuey at the bag, but it's Thome with a catch for the out. But the go-ahead run to second, and the Indians lucky that one, Alomar could range that far to his left, and that his backhanded flip was caught by Thome with he and Shuey at the bag at the same time.
Robbie didn't know who to throw it to, so he just threw it to the bag, which is what you want to do, and Jim Thome stepped in front of Paul Shuey.
Now you've got a decision. Nomar Garciaparra. The last time, with first base open, the Indians walked him, and Troy O'Leary followed with a grand slam. Now they'll pitch to Garciaparra. The go-ahead run at second, 1 out in the 7th. Garciaparra, a 2-run homer to center field in the first, as Phil Regan now heads to the mound. Then an intentional walk in the 3rd. He struck out in the 5th. It's pick your poison time now.
Well, especially when O'Leary is hot and did what he did back in the 3rd inning. And, you know, right now, with Phil Regan coming out, I don't know, maybe they're just going to say pitch to him or pitch around him. Make him hit your pitch. I mean, Sean DePaula had no problems. He dropped 3 breaking balls on Nomar Garciaparra and struck him out in the last time up. But a little different right here with the go-ahead run at second base, and you're in the 7th inning.
Now, Shuey did strike out Garciaparra in the 9th inning in Game 1. The pitch, and it's low, ball 1. Career-wise, Garciaparra, if you include the strikeout last Wednesday, 4 for 10 lifetime, and now the Indians will walk him. So they'll intentionally walk him, and for the 2nd time tonight, they walk Garciaparra in front of Troy O'Leary. The Indians hoping that history does not duplicate itself here in the 7th inning. The last time, O'Leary followed with a grand slam off Nagy in the 3rd. So the Red Sox have runners at first and second, 1 out. Game tied at 8, 7th inning. O'Leary in game 1 against Paul Shuey flied to center. Last night, in facing Paul Shuey, O'Leary walked. Lifetime, Troy O'Leary batting .286 against Shuey. Left-handed batter with good power. The pitch. A swing and a drive down the right field line. Well hit. This ball is gone into the Boston bullpen. Second time tonight. And the Red Sox players out of the dugout jumping up and down as Shuey gives up a 3-run homer to Troy O'Leary into the Boston Red Sox bullpen down the right field line. Red Sox lead it 11-8. And Shuey has given it up here again tonight. My, oh my. We talked about the Indians bullpen being a very inconsistent pen all season long, and it's been the Achilles heel in this division series. Now Mike Stanley to the plate. 0 for 2, Stanley takes a curveball, it's high. Well, you talk about sucking the air out of a ballpark. That 3-run homer by O'Leary, giving him 7 RBIs, has done just that. Stanley swings and misses 1-1.
Well, when you walk somebody like they are to Nomar Garciaparra, Tom, you still have to make good pitches to the next guy. And Charles Nagy hung a breaking ball, and it looked like Shuey.
That pitch is at the knees, 1-2 the count.
Hung a split finger or something that just stayed up. I mean, it was a terrible pitch.
And it may be the pitch that ends the Indians' year.
Very well could be.
The pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. 2 down. So last night, John Valentin's 7 RBIs, setting a postseason record. O'Leary tonight matches it with 2 swings of the bat, each time after Garciaparra had been walked ahead of him. Incredible. Boston has scored off Indians pitching. As the set in the pitch to Varitek, he rips it to first, caught by Thome in self-defense. Boston now in control, 11-8, 7th inning stretch. Alomar swings through it, strike 1. And Pedro Martinez coming off the bench tonight to come in here and save the night, possibly, for Boston out of the bullpen. He has been unscored upon in 3+ innings. Pitch backs Alomar off the plate, 1-1 the count. Indians were down 2-0. Took the lead 3-2. Then expanded it to 5-2. Martinez the wind in the pitch. Alomar swings and misses. Boston scored 5 in the 3rd. They were back up 7-5. Indians countered 3 in the 3rd. And the Indians had themselves an 8-7 lead. Boston tied it in the 4th. Boston taking the lead in the 7th. The pitch. Down low, 2-2. And now, Troy O'Leary's 3-run homer has taken this crowd right out of the game.
Right out of it, no question.
11-8 Boston in the 7th. 1 out, nobody on. The 2-2 pitch to Robbie Alomar. Curveball swung on a miss, strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Martinez. 2 down for Manny Ramirez. 1 for 2 with an RBI double.
Let's hope they have one more charge in him, but that home run might have taken the wind out of the Indians' offense as well. Against this guy now with a 3-run lead.
Well,
you can only come back so many times.
Yeah. I mean,
the Indians have scored 15 runs in the last 2 ball games and aren't even close.
Now Manny Ramirez with 2 down, nobody on. The pitch. Curveball, and it's high. With the exception of Dave Burba and Sean DuPaula, the last 3 days the Indians pitching has been atrocious. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You can't give up that many runs and expect to go on. Manny taps it foul to the right. 1-1 the count. And you're talking about Boston, the 9th ranked offensive team in the American League. But boy, did they get hot. 43 runs in the last 19 innings. Now the 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1.
And really, Tom, I mean, those are softball numbers. Those aren't baseball numbers and championship team caliber numbers. I mean, there were concerns about this team in the bullpen going into the playoffs, but I don't think anybody could have envisioned that it would ever be this bad.
Manny swings and misses at ball 3. That pitch was in on his thumbs. 2-2 the count. And then you lose Kenny Lofton to a separated shoulder tonight. Now the 2-2 delivery. Down in the dirt, bouncing away, full count. Well, for Boston, if they do go on and win this game, they've got to feel now like they've got a shot against New York, because obviously Pedro Martinez has made a near miraculous recovery.
They won't be able to use him for a while, but
now the payoff pitch. Swung on, popped up foul out of play to the right. And the count stays 3-2. Tribe down 11-8, bottom of the 7th, 2 down, nobody on. Jim Thome with 2 majestic home runs tonight, 4 RBIs, but Troy O'Leary, a grand slam and a 3-run homer, 7 RBIs, matching his teammate John Valentin for a postseason record. Valentin set the mark last night. Now the payoff pitch. And strike 3 called, inning is over. And the Indians season is down to its last 6 outs. 11-8, Boston, we go to the 8th. 7 innings in the books, and Boston 6 outs away from advancing to the American League Championship Series. 11-8 Red Sox. And for the Boston Red Sox, Darren Lewis, Trot Nixon, and then the top of the order to face Paul Shuey. Shuey giving up the 3-run homer to Troy O'Leary last inning to break the tie. He delivers high to Darren Lewis, ball 1. The Indians have Mike Jackson warming in the bullpen. The next pitch, and that misses, 2-0. Nobody in the Boston pen. Shuey straightens and fires. And he missed. No, he didn't. Caught the inside corner. 2-1 the count. Darren Lewis has had a big series as he lifts one down the right field line. Long run near the corner. Manny Ramirez, and he makes the catch just inside the line for the out. Trot Nixon, the number 9 hitter, 0 for 2 with a walk, steps in. Boston leads 11-8 here in the 8th inning as a strike delivered to Trot Nixon. Time for the CVS Pharmacy game summary. CVS Pharmacy, care that touches everyone, one at a time. Nixon fouling it out of play to the left, 0-2. What a wild one this was. Boston got a 2-run homer from Garciaparra in the first. The Indians came right back. Vizquel doubled in a run, and Thome hit a 2-run homer to right center, and the Indians were up 3-2. Shuey straightens and fires. The pitch is low, 1-2. Then the Indians looked like they had taken control in the second when Fryman hit a 2-run homer to left, and the Tribe was up 5-2. But Boston got 5 off Nagy in the third. Nixon rips it just foul down the right side. Troy O'Leary got a grand slam off Nagy in the third, the big blow. And the Red Sox had forged back on top, 7-5. But in the Indians' half of the third, Jim Thome came through again. After Ramirez doubled in a run, Thome crushed his second homer, another 2-run homer to center. And after 3 innings, the Indians led 8-7. The pitch down low, full count. Boston then tied it in the 4th, and then Troy O'Leary broke the tie in the 7th, a 3-run homer to right, giving him 2 homers, 7 RBIs. That's where we stand. 11-8 Boston in the 8th. Shuey's pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Nagy tonight went 3 innings, gave up 8 runs. DuPaula was brilliant. 3 shutout innings, and then Shuey giving up the other 3. 2 down, nobody on. Top of the order, Jose Offerman, 1 for 3, a single. I don't know that we have ever seen a crowd much more into a game than this one was for 6 innings. Offerman taking, it's outside, ball 1.
Yeah, and you're right, Tom. In that 7th inning, that O'Leary home run just took him right out of it.
1-0 pitch hit toward first, but foul.
And as we said, maybe even worse, it might have taken the Indian players out of it. I mean, you can only come back so many times and then get deflated. And then you put yourself in the 3-run hole against Pedro Martinez and probably Tom Gordon and whoever else they can summon out there. Rod Beck, Rael Cormier. So Jimmy Williams is not going to let this one get out of hand right now.
Big story tonight, Pedro Martinez. Nobody thought he could pitch anymore in this series. Saberhagen gave up 5 runs in 1 inning. Lowe gave up 3 runs in 2 innings, and the Indians haven't scored since the 3rd. Martinez putting up 4 donuts. The pitch swung on. This is hit pretty well to center. Drifting back is Roberts. He'll put it away. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 11-8. Boston still on top. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 11-8 Boston. Pedro Martinez, his 5th inning of relief work. He's made 70 pitches. I don't think there's any question about his back anymore. Nobody warming in the Boston pen. Jim Thome, Harold Baines, Will Cordero. And the Indians running out of time. Down 11-8. Imperative that they get at least a run here in the 8th inning with these guys coming to the plate. What a night Thome's had. 2 for 3 with 2 homers. Both 2-run jobs. 1 to right center, 1 to center. Martinez winds it up and delivers. Thome takes a curveball inside, ball 1. A lot of curveballs from Martinez tonight. Now the 1-0 pitch. Fastball in there. In fact, Mike, I think we've seen more curves than changeups.
Yeah, he's thrown a lot more curveballs than the changeup, and he's thrown more fastballs.
The 1-1 pitch. A swing and a miss on a change. 1-2. Well, when he was a kid, he and his brothers would rip the heads off their sisters' dolls and pitch. The Indians wishing right now that he would have been a hitter instead of trying to pitch with those heads of the dolls. He has stifled the Indians every time he's faced them. Thome taking it. Just did catch the outside corner. A strike called. 7 strikeouts for Martinez. 1 down here in the 8th. And reality is starting to set in.
Yeah, it really is, because Martinez is getting sharp, and I think not only that, John Shulak's strike zone getting a little wider. And when that happens, those 2 things happen, it can get tough.
Now Harold Baines 0 for 3 tonight. Could be his last game as an Indian. The pitch, and he takes, it's low and away. Baines will be a free agent. And who knows what this winter will bring if the Indians are swept out of this first round of the playoffs. The 1-0 pitch to Baines. Inside, 2-0.
Well, you got to figure it's going to bring some retooling of the pitching staff, especially the bullpen.
No question. 11-8, Tribe down here in the 8th. The pitch. And he got it over a strike. 2-1 to Baines, who thought that pitch was high. Pedro Martinez ready. The wind and the pitch. A swing and a miss. 2-2 the count.
You know, Pedro doesn't throw all that hard, but he isn't tonight, but he can throw it by people. That was a fastball, 91, but right at the letters on the inside part of the plate.
He's a master. He is so far above anybody else pitching nowadays. That pitch inside, full count. Talk all you want about Randy Johnson. Well, this guy's much better even though Johnson still is very good. Full count. Martinez into the windup, the pitch. Swung on, fouled into the seats. We'll do it again at 3-2.
Well, we have seen two miraculous comebacks here for Boston. Garciaparra and this guy.
All Boston's done is come back in this series. The pitch. High and wide, ball 4. Third walk by Martinez. Indians with a base runner for Will Cordero. David Justice not playing tonight because of a stiff neck. That's why Cordero's in the lineup. And of course, the only other left-handed hitter on the bench now, Enrique Wilson, a switch hitter. But with Pedro, it really doesn't matter, lefty or righty. Cordero 1 for 3, a single off the wall and left. Stanley plays behind Baines. At first, Cordero taking a curveball strike. The outfield has opened a big gap in left center for Cordero. Indians down 3, bottom of the 8th. 1 out, 1 on. Martinez really slowing it down now. He sets, he fires. Cordero chops it to third. Valentin, even with the bag, goes to second. High throw, but Offerman keeps his foot on the bag. They get the force on Baines, 2 down. Cordero on with a fielder's choice. And that'll bring Travis Fryman to the plate. He had a 2-run home run, just did clear the wall in the second inning. That seems like days ago. That was the disputed home run that was initially not called a home run, and the umpires conferred, and the replay showed that they got it right when they changed the call. Ball hit the top of the wall, then banged up against the railing. Now the pitch. Fryman taking, it's high. No, it isn't. John Shulak calls the strike. Cordero at first. Stanley plays behind him. Martinez ready. He delivers. A swing and a miss. 0-2 the count.
He's just painting corners right now. He's locked in and in a tremendous rhythm, and that is bad news for Indian hitters.
The KeyBank keys to the game will come up after this one. Boston leading 11-8 in the deciding game of the division series. Martinez ready. He delivers. Swung on and a towering pop into shallow left. Valentin, Garciaparra, all in foul territory. The left fielder O'Leary there as well. They all brush each other, and Garciaparra makes the catch. It goes as a foul out. The inning is over. Boston's 3 outs away from a date with the Yankees. 11-8 Red Sox. 9th inning, Mike Jackson coming on for the Indians. 11-8 Red Sox. Paul Shuey worked 2 innings, giving up 3 runs on 2 hits. And Mike Jackson makes his second appearance in this series. He worked just 1 scoreless inning in the Indians' victory, which seems a long time ago, on that Thursday afternoon when the Indians went up 2-0. Now the pitch, and it's high and outside, ball 1. Boston has activity in its bullpen. Riel Cormier, Ramon Martinez, and Rod Beck. They've got triplets out there in the bullpen. The pitch. Valentin popping it into the seats behind the plate. What a 3 days he had. And Valentin with 2 RBIs tonight, and giving him 12 in this series. And this is another example of how a commanding 2-0 lead can change so quickly.
Well, especially in that 5-game series.
Pitch low and away, 2-1. The Indians left here Thursday afternoon, destined for the American League Championship Series. But nobody told Boston. The pitch, a swing and a miss, 2-2 the count.
Well, and through 4 innings Saturday, it was still looked pretty good until Dave Brubba had to leave the ballgame. But you know what, Tom? That's no excuse. I mean, the rest of the staff just, completely imploded.
The 2-2 pitch, swung on, line to straightaway center. Roberts makes the catch. I mean, Boston lost Pedro Martinez, played a game without Nomar Garciaparra. Cologne had a great outing in game 1. Nagy followed suit in game 2. After that, Dave Bourbon, game 3, the 4 shutout innings until his elbow gave way. And from that point on, as you said it best, Mike, Indians pitching imploded. Now Brian Daubach 2 for 4, taking a strike. And it's proof once again, you can score 1,000 runs in the regular season, but you've got to get people out. The pitch, down in the dirt, 1-1. Boy, the Indians, you couldn't have asked the offense to do any more tonight.
No, and that's why, Tom, and who could have ever foreseen the fact that the bullpen would be this bad? I mean, we said, yes, it's questionable. There's some injuries, this, that, and the other thing. But, I mean, 21 runs or 23 runs.
The pitch, line down the left field line. It's a fair ball and into the corner. Fan reaches out and grabs it. A double for Daubach. His 3rd hit tonight. No, you can't. This is, I mean, the worst case scenario. And now we'll get a pinch runner for Daubach. Boston, they're still playing for a run at a time. Donnie Sadler will run for Daubach.
Well, Jimmy Williams knows this Indian offense, and 3 runs, he doesn't feel all that safe yet.
Mike Jackson could be pitching in his last game as an Indian. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Now Nomar Garciaparra. First base is open. I think the Indians will pitch to him this time. He swings and misses on a slider. Twice tonight, the Indians walked Garciaparra intentionally, and Troy O'Leary spoiled the strategy with a grand slam and a 3-run homer. Garciaparra hit a 2-run homer in the first. That pitch low and away, 1-1 the count. For Mike Hargrove, you can't win for losing. People were mad that Grover allowed the Indians to pitch to Garciaparra earlier. Tonight he walked him, and then O'Leary came through big time. Now the pitch. A swing and a line drive to deep left field. Back goes Cordero. He'll play it off the wall. Sadler flying around third will score. Throw to second, Garciaparra with a double. And the Red Sox starting to taste it now. 12-8, Garciaparra 3 RBIs tonight. Garciaparra 4 in the series, and it doesn't matter who the Indians bring out of the bullpen. It's nothing but trouble now, other than Sean DePaula. Boy, what did that young man do for his future? The Indians will walk Troy O'Leary, who has 7 RBIs tonight, but think DePaula won't be a big part of this club next year?
I think they just put him on the A-list for next year, obviously with what he's done this year. But again, Tom, I mean, he's had a great year, but he's unproven. He really is. And so, I mean, yes, he's got great potential. He did a tremendous job while he was here, but you'd like to surround him with a few more good arms.
Yep. Intentional walk to O'Leary. Here's Mike Stanley, 0 for 3 with a walk.
I mean, really, Sean DePaula has closer-type stuff.
Yes, he does.
And I think the Indians like his temperament as well.
Well, I think he showed tonight what he's made of.
Yep.
3 shutout innings, and he came in when the game was still on the line. Stanley at the plate, swings and misses, strike 1. 12-8 Boston, 9th inning. 1 out, runners at first and second. If you're looking to the bottom of the 9th for the Indians, Alomar, Roberts, Vizquel. Next pitch, strike called, 0-2 to Stanley. Indians baseball brought to you in part by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. The next delivery, a swing and a miss. Stanley strikes out on the slider. 2 down for Jason Varitek, who is 0 for 4 tonight. $12 runs, 10 hits for Boston, 8 runs, 7 hits for Cleveland. 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 on. Mike Jackson ready. He delivers. And a fastball in there for a strike. Boston, which hasn't won a playoff series since 1986. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed, 0-2. Since they lost the World Series in '86, before they won 2 games here, they had lost 18 out of their last 19 postseason games. Now they're on the verge of 3 straight wins. Varitek bangs it foul outside of first. Count is 0-2. And at least for the time being, Boston fans may finally shut up about the Bambino curse.
The curse. Well, if they hang on here, they've got to go face the sons of the Bambino.
0-2 pitch, low and away, 1-2. Indians haven't won a World Series since 1948. Boston hasn't won one since a guy named Babe Ruth was pitching in 1918 for the Red Sox. Talk about your bad trades. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Indians down 12-8. Pedro Martinez has been the story here tonight. Coming out of the bullpen, coming off the injury. Can't say the injured list because he wasn't on it, but he left game 1 with an injury. They didn't think he may pitch anymore this year. And he's worked 5 shutout innings, and he hasn't given up a hit. The Indians have not scored a run, nor have they had a hit since the 3rd. It's Sandy Alomar, Dave Roberts, and Omar Vizquel, and Enrique Wilson will pinch hit for Sandy Alomar. So Mike Hargrove going with a left-handed bat. The wind and the pitch. Wilson taking its high, ball 1. The next delivery outside, corner, a strike, 1-1. Pedro Martinez delivers. Wilson takes ball 2. It's high, 2-1. Boston has Pedro's older brother Ramon, Rod Beck, and Real Cormier throwing in the bullpen.
Well, after Enrique Wilson here is a switch hitter, you've got left-hander switch. So depending on Jimmy Williams, what he wants to do here, he's got a 4-run cushion with Pedro.
The 2-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded in the hole, left side, backhanded by Garciaparra. Gets the throw off in plenty of time to get Wilson. The Indians 2 outs away from playing their last game this century.
You know, Garciaparra may not be as smooth as Omar Vizquel or a Derek Jeter. He's kind of choppy sometimes when you see him in the infield going, but he gets the job done, doesn't he?
Does he ever?
He's got a great arm.
Tell you, everybody has their favorite, but of Jeter, Garciaparra, and Rodriguez of the youngsters, I'll take this guy.
Any day of the week, I'm with you.
Dave Roberts taking it's upstairs. No, it isn't a strike, and that's not to disparage Rodriguez and Jeter, but against the Indians, Garciaparra can do no wrong. Dave Roberts 0 for 1. Kenny Lofton tonight separated his shoulder, diving into first. Roberts almost got hit on the foot.
Let's put it this way. I'd take any one of the 3 of them. And there's not that much of a separation.
Indians fans, many of them standing, many of them stunned. Roberts lines one to short, caught by Garcia. Parra, 2 down. And the Indians down to their last hope. And Boston, which had the impossible dream in 1967, when that team came out of nowhere to go to the World Series. This may not be the impossible dream, but it was the unlikely scenario. Down 2-0. And 1 out away from going on to the ALCS as Omar Vizquel takes strike 1. Pedro Martinez, 6 innings now. Or if he gets this out of hitless relief. The pitch. Swung on, sliced foul to the left. And the Indians are down to their last strike. 12-8 Red Sox, bottom of the ninth. Now the 2-strike delivery to Omar Vizquel, who's had his best season ever. A swing and a line drive, line foul down the left side. Still 0-2. It all started back in February in Winter Haven. Nobody thought it would end this soon in October. Now the 0-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. The ball game is over. The Boston Red Sox will mob Pedro Martinez on the mound. 6 innings of hitless relief. The Red Sox have moved on to the American League Championship Series as they eliminate the Cleveland Indians by a final score of 12-8. And Mike, you can say whatever you want about the Boston or about the Indians pitching. As we mentioned, it was abysmal the last 3 days, but that would really be selling the Red Sox short.